The introduction to the history of the United States serves as a fundamental cornerstone in understanding the nation's intricate past and its evolution over time. At its core, it encompasses a broad overview of the events, cultures, and figures that have shaped the United States from its pre-colonial days to the present, establishing a foundation for more in-depth exploration. This section is pivotal because it sets the stage for all subsequent historical analysis, offering a contextual framework that aids in comprehending complex themes such as democracy, civil rights, and economic development throughout American history. The significance of this introduction lies in its role as a gateway to understanding. For example, grasping the motives behind the European exploration and colonization of North America is crucial for appreciating the subsequent socio-cultural transformations and conflicts, such as the indigenous peoples' displacement and the expansion of European influence. Additionally, it also illuminates the principles and grievances that drove the 13 colonies to declare independence from British rule, ultimately leading to the formation of a new nation predicated on ideals of liberty and self-governance. Historians widely acknowledge the importance of this foundational understanding. Renowned scholars like Howard Zinn argue that knowing the story's beginnings is essential for interpreting the themes of power, struggle, and change that recur throughout U.S. history. However, this viewpoint is not without its challenges and controversies. Historians often grapple with how narratives are shaped and whose voices are included or excluded, leading to diverse interpretations of events. This can manifest in debates over topics like the narrative surrounding Christopher Columbus or the portrayal of the Founding Fathers, challenging simplified or idealized versions of history. Alternative viewpoints also stress the need for a more inclusive and critical approach, particularly when discussing the impact of settler colonialism and slavery, urging that these elements be integral to the U.S. historical narrative from the outset. This inclusion can substantially influence how other aspects, such as legal and cultural developments, are perceived and understood. Ultimately, introducing the history of the United States is not just about recounting facts. It's about setting a stage for critical thinking and continued inquiry into how the past informs the present and the future. This segment intricately connects to every subsequent historical discussion, whether it is about economic strategies, foreign policy, or social movements, underpinning the complexity and richness of the nation's story. Colonial America and the 13 colonies hold a pivotal place in the history of the United States as the foundation of the country's political, social, and economic structures. This period, which spans from the early 17th century to the mid-18th century, saw the establishment of 13 British colonies along the eastern seaboard of North America. Each colony had its own distinct culture, economy, and governance, yet together they laid the groundwork for a unified American identity and the eventual fight for independence. The significance of colonial America lies in its role as the incubator for American democracy, economic practices, and cultural diversity. The colonies introduced innovative ideas about self-governance, significantly contributing to the development of political institutions. The Virginia House of Burgesses, established in 1619, was the first legislative assembly in the American colonies, marking a crucial step toward representative government. Similarly, the New England town meetings were instrumental in promoting the concept of local governance and civic involvement. Economically, the 13 colonies were diverse, ranging from the plantation economies of the southern colonies, which relied heavily on slave labor, to the maritime and trading economies in New England. The triangular trade, a transatlantic exchange of goods and enslaved people, underpinned much of the colonial economy and is a clear example of the colony's integration into a global trade network. Culturally, the colonies were a melting pot of European, Native American, and African influences, which fostered a unique social fabric reflected in colonial art, literature, and religious practices. Opinions on the colonial period often highlight the innovative spirit and resilience of early settlers, emphasizing how their experiences shaped American values. However, this period is also marred by challenges and controversies, especially regarding the colonization's impact on indigenous populations, the institution of slavery, and the uneven distribution of wealth and power. Critics argue that the benefits of colonial endeavors often came at tremendous human cost, particularly for Native Americans who faced displacement and violence. The legacy of colonial America deeply influences other aspects of U.S. history, such as the American Revolution. Dissatisfaction with British rule, nurtured by colonial experiences of self-governance and economic independence, fueled revolutionary sentiments. The ideas and practices established in this early period echo throughout American history, whether in the formation of the Constitution or in ongoing struggles for civil rights and equality. Understanding colonial America is thus crucial to comprehending the broader story of the United States, its founding ideals, and the complexities that continue to shape the nation. The American Revolution and independence represent a pivotal chapter in the history of the United States. This transformative period, spanning from 1765 to 1783, was characterized by the 13 American colonies' struggle to break free from British imperial rule. It culminated in the colony's Declaration of Independence in 1776, followed by years of arduous conflict that eventually led to the establishment of a sovereign nation. This revolution was not only a fight for independence, but also a profound assertion of Enlightenment ideals such as liberty, democracy, and self-governance, which would come to define the essence of the new nation. The significance of the American Revolution in the grand tapestry of U.S. history cannot be overstated. It laid the foundational principles of American democracy, setting the stage for the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These documents enshrined the concepts of individual rights and the separation of powers, which continue to underpin American political life today. Furthermore, the revolution inspired subsequent movements for freedom and justice globally, echoing the U.S. commitment to these ideals. One vivid example of the revolution's impact is the drafting of the Declaration of Independence, a document that eloquently articulated the colony's grievances against the British Crown and expressed a vision of a just and equal society. Another key example is the Battle of Saratoga in 1777, a decisive turning point that secured French support for the American cause, demonstrating the international resonance and effects of the revolution. Numerous scholars argue in favor of the revolution's necessity, citing the oppressive British policies like the Stamp Act and the Intolerable Acts, which curtailed the colony's freedoms and economic potential. However, the revolution did generate controversies and alternative viewpoints. For instance, loyalists, who made up a significant portion of the colonial population, believed that remaining under British rule was more beneficial and that the costs of rebellion were too high. The American Revolution is deeply interconnected with other elements of U.S. history. It set a precedent for challenging tyrannical power, influencing future democratic movements within the country, such as the abolition of slavery and the expansion of civil rights. It also sparked debates about the nature of governance, equality, and national identity, which continue to influence American discourse and development. In essence, the American Revolution and independence symbolize the nation's enduring quest for liberty and justice, shaping its evolution and aspirations to this day. The era of expansion and the Civil War stands as a crucial chapter in the United States history, encapsulating a period marked by territorial growth, profound social change, and conflict that defined the nation's trajectory. This era, spanning the early to mid-19th century, witnessed significant territorial expansion through policies such as Manifest Destiny, the belief that Americans were destined to expand across the continent. This doctrine not only justified the annexation of large territories, but also highlighted the era's relentless pursuit of growth and opportunity, fundamentally reshaping America's geographical and political landscape. The significance of this period is immense when considering the broader history of the United States. Expansion fueled economic growth, offering new lands for agriculture and settlement, and subsequently leading to the rise of a robust market economy. However, with this territorial growth came intensified debates over the institution of slavery, culminating in the Civil War, a conflict that would ultimately redefine the nation's core values, addressing issues of human rights, federalism, and national unity. Two pivotal examples illustrate this era. First, the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, which doubled the size of the United States, exemplified expansionist policies that propelled the United States onto the global stage as a burgeoning power. Second, the Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, represented the inevitable clash over states' rights and slavery, resulting in the abolition of slavery through the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment, highlighting how expansion inflamed sectional tensions that could only be resolved through conflict. Supporters of expansion often viewed it as not only a national duty, but as an opportunity for prosperity and democratization of new territories. Critics, however, argue that these policies came at a devastating cost to Native American populations, leading to displacement and cultural erasure. Additionally, the expansion intensified the debate over the extension of slavery, underscoring the moral and ethical quandaries at the nation's heart. Connections between expansion and other historical aspects are evident as the push for land drove technological and infrastructural advancements, such as railroads, which further integrated the nation's economy. Furthermore, the Civil War's outcome paved the way for Reconstruction, a pivotal period aimed at rebuilding the South and integrating freed slaves into American society, though it faced considerable resistance and led to a century-long struggle for civil rights. Thus, the expansion and Civil War era is a defining chapter in American history, offering profound insights into the nation's growth, conflict, and quest for unity, a complex interplay of ambition, conflict, and reform that continues to influence the United States today.